Tonight, turning on Trump, David Pecker, the publisher of the National Enquirer, one of the president's closest allies, granted immunity by federal prosecutors. A source tells ABC News Pecker told authorities the president knew about deals to buy the silence of two women alleging sexual affairs. Tonight, what the president said about people who flip. Also breaking tonight, the war of words. Attorney General Jeff Sessions publicly defending himself from the president's attacks, saying the Department of Justice will not be influenced by politics. State of emergency, the major hurricane barreling toward Hawaii. Floods and landslides expected from this powerful rainmaker. Flights canceled. Residents now bracing for impact. The congressman and his wife charged, both accused of spending hundreds of thousands in campaign contributions, paying for everything from a lavish trip to Italy to visits to the dentist, even travel for their pet. The high-right sniper, new video release showing shots fired, police now on the hunt. Inside job, the dangerous robbery, the victim run over, a bank teller now charged for allegedly telling the crooks how much money she had. Also tonight, that Iowa college student, what investigators are now revealing about Molly Tibbetts, her alleged killer, and her final moments.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
And good evening. It's great to have you with us on a busy Thursday night. I'm Tom Yamas, in for David. And we begin tonight with what is fast becoming one of the worst weeks for President Trump since he took office. One of his closest longtime friends turning on the president, a man he's known for more than a decade, David Pecker, CEO of the company that owns the National Enquirer, cutting an immunity deal in the Michael Cohen case. A source telling ABC News he helped prosecutors investigating Cohen and hush money payments for two women during the campaign. Cohen pleading guilty to campaign finance violations, claiming he was acting at the direction of President Trump. ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas leads us off.
He's been friends with President Trump for more than a decade, but David Pecker, publisher of the National Enquirer, has now been granted immunity in exchange for his cooperation with prosecutors. A source telling ABC News, Pecker has told investigators he worked with President Trump's former fixer and personal attorney Michael Cohen to buy the silence of women who claimed to have had affairs with Trump, and that Trump knew about the deals.
Michael, what's your message to the president?
Cohen pleaded guilty earlier this week, admitting his role in the scheme, which he claims was directed by the president himself. Prosecutors say the plan to protect Trump began in 2015, just after the billionaire launched his campaign. They say Pecker, in coordination with Cohen and one or more members of the campaign, offered to help deal with negative stories about Trump's relationships with women, specifically assisting the campaign in identifying such stories so they could be purchased and their publication avoided, a practice known as catch and kill. A year later, the Enquirer publisher bought the story of Karen McDougal, our former Playboy playmate who claimed to have had an affair with Trump.
Were you in love with him?
I was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And do you think he was in love with you?
He was, yeah.
The McDougal story never ran in the tabloid. Cohen says he worked with Pecker to bury it, operating at the request of the candidate for the principal purpose of influencing the election. Cohen later secretly recorded a conversation with Trump, where they seemingly discussed buying the rights to McDougal's story from Pecker's company.
I need to open up a company for the transfer of all of that info regarding our friend David, so that I'm going to do that right away.
The source tells ABC News Pecker told prosecutors he also worked with Cohen to buy the silence of porn star Stormy Daniels, and that Trump knew about that deal too. The president's own story has been changing for months. This is what he told Fox News this week.
Did you know about the payments?
Later on, I knew. Later on.
And the president, furious, Cohen has now turned against him.
Everything's wonderful, and then they get 10 years in jail, and they flip on whoever the next highest one is, or as high as you can go. It almost ought to be outlawed. It's not fair.
With the political and legal implications growing, the president asked about the prospect of impeachment.
I don't know how you can impeach somebody who's done a great job. I'll tell you what, if I ever got impeached, I think the market would crash. I think everybody would be very poor.
All right, Pierre Thomas joins us now live from Washington. And Pierre, I want to go back to that immunity deal with David Pecker. We know prosecutors already have documents from the publisher of the National Enquirer.
That's right, Tom. Tonight, the Associated Press is reporting that the Enquirer had a safe full of documents related to Trump. The question tonight is whether those documents are in the hands of federal investigators.
Pierre Thomas with that stunning headline tonight. Pierre, thank you. Tonight's other breaking story, the extraordinary public feud exploding between President Trump and Attorney General Jeff Sessions. The president angry with Sessions ever since he recused himself from the Russia investigation. Now lashing out, claiming he never took control of the Justice Department and questioning his loyalty. Sessions pushing back, saying the department will not be improperly influenced. The two face-to-face in the White House this afternoon. Here's ABC's senior national correspondent, Terry Moran.
After months of denouncing his own attorney general, President Trump finally went too far for Jeff Sessions. With investigations swirling around his inner circle, he complained bitterly to Fox News.
And I put an attorney general that never took control of the Justice Department, Jeff Sessions, never took control of the Justice Department. And it's a sort of an incredible thing.
Sessions, the long-suffering loyalist, struck back sharply. I took control of the Department of Justice the day I was sworn in, which is why we have had unprecedented success at effectuating the president's agenda, Sessions wrote in a statement. In a momentous week of legal developments potentially threatening the president, Trump remains furious that Sessions recused himself from overseeing the special counsel's investigation.
He took the job, and then he said, I'm going to recuse myself. I said, what kind of a man is this? And by the way, he was on the campaign. You know, the only reason I gave him the job because I felt loyalty. He was an original supporter.
Sessions, so loyal for so long, has so often been the target of Trump's wrath, the president calling his attorney general beleaguered, disgraceful, very weak. But today, in that written statement, Sessions was clear. While I am Attorney General, the actions of the Department of Justice will not be improperly influenced by political considerations. But President Trump telling Fox he thinks politics matters in prosecutions.
If you look at President Obama, he had a massive campaign violation, but he had a different Attorney General, and they viewed it a lot differently. You know, we have somebody that they seem to like to go after a lot of Republicans.
One top Republican, now a convicted felon, Paul Manafort, President Trump's former campaign chairman, found guilty by a jury this week of tax crimes and bank fraud.
I have great respect for what he's done in terms of what he's gone through. Some of the charges they threw against him, every consultant, every lobbyist in Washington probably does.
The question now, will the president pardon Manafort? His press secretary says he's never discussed it.
That's not something that has been up for discussion. I don't have anything for you on that.
His lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, today sending mixed signals, telling the Washington Post and the New York Times he and Trump have discussed a pardon, but denying it in an interview with Fox News.
And Terry Moran joins us now live from the White House. Terry, regardless of what the president's lead attorney, Rudy Giuliani, is saying publicly about a possible pardon for Manafort, we do know the president's power to pardon is vast.
It sure is, Tom. And Paul Manafort has another trial coming up here in Washington, but President Trump does not have to wait for that trial. Just as President Ford pardoned President Nixon before Nixon was even charged, this president, any president, can issue a pardon at any time, before a trial, after a trial, before any charges are even filed. He's got full power to do so. Tom?
Terry Moran live for us at the White House tonight. Terry, thank you. We turn now to the state of emergency at this hour. Hurricane Lane lashing away at the Hawaiian Islands. The monster storm with winds up to 130 miles per hour. And the images coming in right now, heavy rain pouring down on the Big Island. The major concern, up to 30 inches of rain causing devastating flooding plus landslides. ABC's Gio Benitez is right there.
That's too dangerous.
Wow.
Tonight, conditions deteriorating in Hawaii as the eye of Hurricane Lane moves closer to shore, churning up the Pacific. The slow-moving storm already swamping roads on the Big Island with 1.5 feet of rain in just hours.
You can see major flooding here in progress. The water is several feet deep out ahead of us.
Reports of mudslides, drivers making their way through treacherous high water. Time to prepare, all but over. Residents racing to grab dwindling supplies from empty shelves and securing homes.
Yes, I'm concerned because even if we dodge it, it's going to be a lot of rain.
All public schools closed, officials urging people not evacuating to stay put.
Be prepared to shelter in place, 14 days of food and supplies and water, medicine.
First responders from the mainland, like these from Washington, are racing into Hawaii to help, while tourists are flocking to airports trying to get out. What were you thinking, knowing that you still had a flight tomorrow?
I just wanted to get out
as fast as possible, just so I didn't have to, I guess, stay for the aftermath.
Luckily, she's getting on a flight tonight.
And Gio joins us live now from Honolulu, where they're bracing for Hurricane Lane. And Gio, officials there warning people to stay out of the water?
Yeah, that's right, Tom. In fact, we just heard a lifeguard telling people on a megaphone to get out. It's just too dangerous. We've been watching these waves get bigger and bigger. Powerful bands are just hours away here, Tom.
All right, Gio Benitez watching for Hurricane Lane. Gio, thank you. Let's turn right now to senior meteorologist Rob Marciano. He's tracking the hurricane tonight. Hey, Rob.
Hey, Tom. Concerning on 2 points. One, is not weakening very rapidly, and two, the Pacific Hurricane Center says this is a low confidence forecast. So you're going to see why when we look at the track. Here is the storm itself, about 200 miles or so to the south of Honolulu, and it is a strong storm. And the track of this is going to make an extreme left turn, we hope, before it gets to the islands. But there's a possibility it makes landfall. A Category 3 likely during the day tomorrow as it makes a close approach to Maui, and then Honolulu itself during the early morning hours on Saturday. Rain 10 to 30 inches. I think that's going to be the biggest issue. Waves, of course, a big storm surge as well. We already have flash flood warnings out. And again, I may not make a direct landfall, but regardless, the impacts, Tom, could be damaging.
A tricky forecast and a massive rainmaker. All right, Rob, thanks so much. We turn now to the congressman and his wife indicted in California. Protesters yelling, "Lock him up," as Congressman Duncan Hunter was outside the courthouse today. The couple accused of spending $250,000 in campaign money on personal expenses, everything from Costco to a lavish vacation in Italy. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
Jeers and chants of "lock him up" greeting U.S. Representative Duncan Hunter as the Republican congressman arrived at court separately from his wife, Margaret. Inside, the couple pleading not guilty to an explosive 60-count indictment. Federal prosecutors detailing a laundry list of instances from 2009 through 2016 of the couple allegedly using $250,000 in campaign money to pay for personal expenses. More than $15,000 for airline tickets and hotel rooms, including a lavish trip to Italy, $250 to fly a family pet to Washington, D.C. According to prosecutors, they spent more than $3,000 on fast food, disguised family dental bills paid with campaign funds as a charitable donation to Smiles for Life. On one occasion, prosecutors say when the lawmaker didn't have enough money to buy shorts, his wife advised the former Marine to buy them at a golf shop so they could characterize the purchase as golf balls for wounded warriors. All this, according to the indictment, as the couple racked up more than $37,000 in insufficient funds fees on their personal accounts.
The U.S. government can do what they want whenever they want to. And they've showed that against me, they've showed it against Trump.
Hunter, one of the first congressmen to endorse the president, maintains the indictment is politically motivated, despite the charges being brought by a Trump appointee.
Lindsay Davis joins us now live in studio. And Lindsay, this is an election year, and Hunter says that he is going to fight for his reelection, and because of California law, he will stay on the ballot?
That's exactly right, Tom. You know, Hunter has willingly given up some key assignments, but he's vowing to stay in the race, and his name will stay on the ballot because in California, basically, first of all, you're not allowed to have write-ins, and because he won the primary in June, your name has to stay on the ballot, Tom.
Right. Lindsay Davis for us tonight. Lindsay, thank you. We turn now to some breaking developments in the high-rise shooting here in New York. Police revealing new information in the hunt for a gunman wanted for firing shots into a 50-story building from across the East River. Authorities releasing new surveillance. ABC's Whit Johnson with the new details just coming in.
Tonight, an NYPD source telling ABC News that they have identified the man and woman in this surveillance video, and they are close to making an arrest in the mystery shootings into this luxury high-rise. For days, residents living on edge after a gunman opened fire on this apartment building.
I just heard bang. I think I heard 5 shots. Bang, 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 bang. And then my father, who was retired police, he said that was gunshots.
Police believe the bullets hitting that Upper East Side apartment are coming from Roosevelt Island, flying over the East River 1,400 feet away. The first shooting just before midnight last Thursday. A resident on the 14th floor waking up to the sound of shattering glass. Then, overnight Saturday, bullets hitting the 32nd floor. In both cases, women in their 60s sleeping inside were not hurt.
Instead of walking in my apartment, I'll be crawling on my belly.
And Tom, based on the surveillance video, investigators knew they were looking for the shooter here on Roosevelt Island, who was pointing a handgun and firing